Well, as you can see, I am prepared additionally for World's End. But nonetheless, World's End for AEW Saturday was a show that I think we can honestly say that proportions, we kind of got taken out of the first half of AEW World's End. I say that because, especially with two big matches on the card, or actually three. So, first off, we've heard the rumors about Andrade El Idolo, and going into his match with Miro, some were speculating, well, this could be Andrade's last match in AEW. That may very well be the case. And based on what transpired on Saturday, could very well be. It was a solid match for what it was, but the crowds definitely fell out of the match, certainly. So there was that match. Second, it was originally slated to be Swerve vs. Keith Lee for World's End. Them revisiting their feud from late last year. Now, Keith Lee, we know, has been on and off TV for the better part of the last few months. That's been how it is, but not a lot of speculation. But first off, so we didn't see Keith Lee on Wednesday when they addressed the contract with Swerve and Prince Nana. So that was first. Then we saw a tweet from Keith Lee telling that he's been going through an injury for the last number of months. And, it's been worse. So, trying to fight through it, but the doctors wouldn't clear him. So, it turned out to be basically a squash match between Swerve Strickland and Dustin Rhodes. So, already part 2. Part 3. So, I said I wouldn't address it until, now. But, so, we had 2 8-man tag team matches on the show, which kind of filler, but in the second one, it was Sting, Darby, Sammy Guevara, and Chris Jericho versus Big Bill, Ricky Starks, Powers Hobbs, and Konosuke Takeshita, which was a fine match. But the thing was, The other day, reports and rumors went flying out that, and Chris Jericho's name was blowing up for some apparent reason. So checked, and don't want to speculate, just want to address what it seems to be. So, Chris Jericho apparently, in argument with Mr. Nick Hausman, was dressed, and the rumblings about speculation of a Chris Jericho NDA signed by Kylie Ray, who female wrestler, was part of AEW in the beginning, but she mysteriously disappeared for a number of reasons. Well, this is probably one. She liked to tweet posting about Chris Jericho's sexual misconduct. And so that rumor or report was floating around. And that's all I'll say. But bottom line is the crowd and everything, just bad vibe about this match. It kind of took me a bit out of it, especially because this was also a makeshift match, because it was supposed to be Big Bill and Ricky Starks versus Jericho and Omega, but Omega came down with diverticulitis. So they threw this match together on Dynamite. But yeah, those big three things kind of took out people for the big portion of the night of the show. Luckily, though, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, that was probably match of the night. That was great. Moxley versus Kingston, that was a fun battle. And finals of the Continental Classic. And then we got the main event, Samoa Joe dethroning MJF to become the new AEW World Champion, but that was not it. So, Adam Cole came out to support MJF again, was on crutches, was wearing all black, tell us something was up. And then, so after the match, Adam Cole and MJF were attacked by the henchmen, Devil's Masked Men. And looked like one of them was going to attack MJF or Adam Cole with a chair. And then all of a sudden the lights go out and they come back on. And then Adam Cole is sitting in the chair, like perched in front of these masked men, who revealed themselves as Roderick Strong, Wardlow, and the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. And that was great. And they beat down on a distraught MJF. And then Adam Cole takes out the mask and dumps it on MJF, and they pose in front of MJF's defeated body or above him. And yeah, it was, first of all, great for Samoa Joe. You know, moment long overdue, especially considering his, you know, out commentating in the rain for WrestleMania a number of years ago for WWE. And then gets released twice. Never became WWE champion. But now he's the AEW World Champion. Great moment for Samoa Joe. As far as the reveal, you know, the right parties were involved. You know, no matter how many times they use glass, Jack Perry, you know, so is apparently suspended. We have not seen him since Allin. Yeah. But yeah, Roddy, the Kingdom, and Wardlow. Great stuff. But anyways, guys, with that out of the way, let's get into the review. Then, shall we? Subscription somewhere over here, but you guys can find it, don't worry. Let's get into the review, shall we? Now, depending on when, be either Happy New Year or New Year's Eve. So, I can honestly say that this year had both ups and downs, but we live and we learn, basically. So yeah, let's get into review, shall we? So on the 0 hour, which gotta watch again, there were two notable matches. So Chris Statlander faced off against Will Nightingale. Apparently, Stokely Hathaway is still trying to court Chris Statlander, you know, being a manager. But Statlander loses again. I mean, it's kind of weird, but yeah. But, so, for the 0 hour, the other match. So, there was a 20-man battle royal for an opportunity at the TNT Championship, anytime, anywhere. And Killswitch, aka Luchasaurus, won it. So, thing to keep in mind as it came up at the end of the TNT title match. So there you go. So the first match on the main show, Brody King. This is kind of a all-star match between the guys who weren't in the finals of the Continental Classic. So, we have Brody King, Jay Lethal, Roosh, and Jay White. First, Claudio Castagnoli, Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia, and Bryan Danielson. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I thought that they would keep Bryan off the card simply because, giving them some time before, a card match, but I guess at least it was an 8-man tag. So, this was fine opener. Matt Menard, he was at ringside. Seems like he's always at ringside now for Daniel Garcia matches. He adds an interesting touch, certainly for commentary. He's certainly a spokesman. So, Daniel Garcia, was kind of the afterthought of the Continental Classic, even though, until we got points for Brody King in that big upset. So, he was getting beat down for a majority of the match, got his nose busted open. Not sure how, but after he made a tag to Mark, and then, of course, with these multi-man tags, melees got ensued. One on the outside, Claudio used a big uppercut. Mark used the Cactus Jack-like elbow, and then went for a blockbuster in the middle of the ring for a near fall. So, then Claudio got a big tag, and then two big hosses of the match, Claudio and Brody King. They exchanged back and forth, but Claudio got the advantage. Hit big suplex or two. Roosh and Mark Briscoe, they were in the ring. And there was not in sync, but close. As Roosh went for the bull's horns, drop kick, and Brody went for a rolling cannonball for a near fall. Claudio got the giant swing, but broken up for a near fall by Jay White. Then there was melee in the middle of the ring. It was great to see Jay White and Bryan Danielson. Again, my predicted finals. I mean, the match is definitely going to happen sometime down the road. So good to see, though. Jay White and Bryan Danielson. Bit of a tease. So, after all the chaotic mess, Lethal went for the lethal injection. Went for that cutter, but Garcia countered, and same way he beat Brody with a jackknife cover. He rolled up Lethal 1, 2, 3. And Daniel Garcia pinned Jay Lethal. And another stellar moment for Daniel Garcia. You can tell the crowd is into him. Good moment for him. And quality moment to start the show. It was a match needed, no, but provided a feel-good moment a bit at the end. So, yeah. Plus, with getting Jay White and Bryan Danielson in the middle of the ring. So, it's crazy. This is Andrade was Andrade El Idolo's first AEW singles match and probably his last. So I'm sure people were curious as to why this match felt rushed. You know, yeah. So we had Andrade versus Miro, and this match was probably rushed for a reason, assuming Andrade leaves. So yeah, so match was fine. Got a hot start from Miro. When the attack on Andrade early. Eventually, Andrade got some offense in. Finally, on a break, or after a bit, Miro hit a superplex, but Andrade would follow up. He had moonsault on the outside, followed with a double moonsault back in the ring for a near fall. Miro followed with a Machka kick, but only got a 2. Andrade's move that doesn't get enough love is his big back elbow he uses to clock his opponents. Could be a finisher. I mean, Jericho used the back elbow for the juice effect. So, I mean, there you go. So, anyway, that got near fall. So, for a while, Andrade was targeting the knees of Miro. Went for the figure 8. And referee was distracted with Miro, trying to figure out does he give up, etc., etc. So it looked like I saw the highlights, so might have been messed up. So it looked like he was going for ropes, but CJ Perry, who's there, threw him off, and Andrade was flabbergasted and distracted by CJ Perry. So Miro followed up, hit another Machka kick, walked in to game over again, and Andrade was out. Miro gets the win. CJ Perry siding with her husband again. Well, for the first time on AEW. Certainly a great thing to see. See how it unfolds. Yeah, we'll see how it unfolds. So, Toni Storm versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship. I mean, These two could definitely put on a good match. It's just what was going into it. You know, didn't really get me, or probably not a lot of people interested in this match. So, Toni, she had this, like, fluffy hat or something. I mean, just paying up to the gimmick. So, Toni Storm targeted the back of Riho. I mean, Riho was like small. Anyway, so Riho did have some offense in. She hit her double stomps out of the corner. Yeah, had some offense, but the finish here. So Toni Storm, people are saying this is her former finisher. So it was like a Uranagi into a DT. So that was something there. And got the win. So kudos for Toni. Mariah May was out there with some rose petals. Yeah, that was a unique touch to the celebration. And again, the gimmick. Dante Martin. We got a segment in between all this to kind of separate the stuff. So this was a little refreshing. So Dante Martin was backstage, talked to Orange Cassidy, saying how he needs that title. And basically, they usher a challenge for Wednesday's Dynamite and made it official. Orange Cassidy versus Dante Martin for the international title. So, next, Swerve versus Dustin Rhodes. Basically, a squash match. So there was a cinder block, and so Swerve broke it apparently over Dustin's ankle, and that was sort of the match, targeting the ankle of Dustin. Dustin acted defiant, flipped him off. But anyways, Swerve got the win. Swerve stomp 1, 2, 3. There you go. I mean, Swerve lost the tournament ultimately for this. At least it was on the show, I guess. But yeah. Then this match. Chris Jericho, Sting, Darby, Sammy versus Big Bill, Ricky Starks, Takesha, and Palace Hobbs. So, when Judas was playing, they were happy. when it wasn't. It went south for the reaction for Chris Jericho in a heartbeat. This was not good. This reaction. But some good spots in this match. Don Castagnoli teaming up on Darby Allin. They kind of threw him to catch a big blue thunder bomb off the top rope onto Darby. That was a fun spot there. I can imagine a match between these two. Certainly be fun. So, anyways, the finish match came here. So, by the way, Rick Starks flipped off Jericho. That was one thing. And the Darby, there was a video posted. Darby, during his entrance, chanted towards the ring, you piece of you know what. So, speculation, I mean, look, is this just, coincidence, part of the reports of Jericho? Anyway, so Sammy won here for his team. He had GTH and Shooting Star off the top on Ricky Starks for the win. So there you go. Now, beating one of your tag team champions in a non-title match, I don't know. Sammy got the win. Not a pretty thing for Jericho. But I guess since Sting was on this side, they had to give him the win. And, look, ultimately I didn't mind another Sting match because if Revolution is going to be the last match, then what's too bad for another match? So, yeah. Great job for Sting. I was surprised that the TBS title match went on after the AEW Women's Championship match, but nonetheless, Julia Hart versus Abadon. Obviously, this has been getting more build than, well, I guess I just described it there that this match has got more build than the other match. So, yeah. So, Sky Blue got involved. The pairing of Julia Hart and Sky Blue has been very good. Good to see. So, yeah. Anyway, Julia Hart won here with a Moonsault off top for the win after Sky Blue got involved. So there you go. Radicom, I think we can say. Yeah. Now the question is, did they try to build Abadon after? I mean, it's honestly weird with Abadon. With the whole red look, the demonic look, she still looks demonic, but it's kind of a weird demonic with the green and stuff. But you know, we'll see. You can see that they're trying to do something women's division, but you know, with Thunder Rosa being back and that win last week, I imagine they'll use more Thunder Rosa, and then we'll eventually get a Joy Hart match between those two down the line. So yeah. And this was really when the show picked up, I think we can say. Show picked up with final 3 matches, and they delivered. Copeland versus Chris Gage, no DQ. So, Copeland, throwback. So, he wore his old WrestleMania 22 attire when he beat Mick Foley in that great hardcore match. You know, yeah. Match was very good. One of the best Edge matches I've seen. Yeah, it was fun. So, little throwback there. He attacked Chris Cage, on the stage, and really took off from there. They're fighting on stage, fighting on the crowd. Copeland actually dived out of the crowd and on Christian, bunch of people down below. So there's that. Then back in the ring, Christian got the advantage. Used a kendo stick on Copeland, tried to choke him with it, etc. So, but Copeland, I want to say Edge, but out Copeland. So there were chairs, there were ladders. Copeland used a chair. So, and then there was a ladder. Again, reminiscent of the TLC days. So Christian countered with a sunset flip powerbomb off the ladder. Copeland fired back with a chair shot, followed with an impaler on it. Throwback, again. So, the end of that WrestleMania 22 match was Edge spearing Mick Foley through a flaming table. So, interesting though, I don't think I've seen a table lit on fire, then go out and then had to be relit. That's a first for me. So, Copeland originally set up a table, lit it on fire, and then it went out. So then he had to get more of the fluid, light it on the table, and then lit it again. So Nick Wayne, he was getting involved. Copeland, he powerbombed Wayne onto his table, but he didn't go through. He kind of landed on it, but still on the flames, which had to have sucked. So, yeah, he was writhing in pain. Yeah. So, welcome to AEW, kid. So, kind of took him out. So, Christian tried to spear Copeland through a table, but no avail. Copeland countered and delivered a spear of his own. So, Copeland, after the flaming table spot, tried to use the belt shot to attack Copeland and get the advantage. But no avail, as Copeland was one step ahead and hit a kill switch, which, I mean, Ryan was on the wall from there on Christian for the win. And we have a new TNT champion, Aew Copeland. But, so, Copeland, so Kill Switch, aka Luchasaurus, who won the Battle Royal on the 0 Hour. He appeared out of nowhere behind Copeland. And, of course, the right-hand man of Christian attacked Luchasaurus from behind with a clubby blow. And Christian was there, told him to give him the contract. So, reluctantly, Killswitch gave him the contract, left the ring. Christian signed it, handed it to the ref, to Justin Roberts, and basically was made official. So, Christian delivered a spear on Copeland. 1, 2, 3. We have a new TNT champion again. Sell with Christian Cage. So, more lining up to the story with Christian Cage and Killswitch, aka Luchasaurus. Certainly played into it. Aew Copeland is champion for a cup of coffee. So there you go. Good stuff. It's kind of funny. So now they probably went with something else, but again, saw the highlights. So funny. So Copeland used the kill switch to beat Christian. Christian used a spear to beat Copeland. So they use each other's moves to beat the other. So cool little dissection there. Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. Finals of the Continental Classic. I mean, people disappointed that, Moxley won on Wednesday, but nonetheless, right outcome for tonight. So, hard-fought match, as we kind of expected, a stalemate to begin, but the match delivered, I felt. So, like I said, some back and forth, chain wrestling to start. Bryan Danielson was on commentary. He did double duty tonight. So, Moxley apologized for a near fall, saying some chops and chucks back and forth. Eddie followed up with a lariat and Northern Lights bomb for a near fall. Eddie Kingston right in front of Bryan. So, he used the patented anvil elbows of the BCC to attack Moxley. So, Mox fired up with a lariat, getting more back and forth. A finally followed up. He hit a back fist on Moxley. 1, 2, 3. Eddie Kingston wins the Continental Classic after losing his first 2 matches to Brody King and Bryan Danielson. He has fought all the way back. And is the first winner of the Triple Crown. They had a belt set up and made. Looked alright. The question is, how, first of all, great moment for Eddie. New Yorker in New York, Nassau Coliseum. Great moment over Mox. Being all the BCC in the tournament except for Yuta, basically. But nonetheless. So, yeah, the question will be, how do they use Eddie going forward? Because the Triple Crown, he has his New Japan Strong title, he has the Ring of Honor title. Now as the holder of the Triple Crown, how do they use him going forward to make sure the significance of the tournament does not get lost? That's certainly the key going forward to next year. But great, fun match, and good win for Eddie. Great stuff. So then main event. Samoa Joe versus MJF. I think the ending could have definitely been better. Certainly. But I did enjoy, the match is as good as it could have been. With the injuries to MJF. So, like I said, Adam Cole was at ringside and was wearing all black. So, right off the bat there, you could tell something was up. And then, so, MJF shoulder severely bandaged. So, that was something there. So, Joe, of course, targeted the bullseye, the shoulder of MJF. He had Death Valley Driver for a near fall. This spot could very well have been it. Should have been the closing spot, probably, maybe. But Samoa Joe hit a muscle buster on the apron and only got a 2 count back in the ring. So, I don't know. One, definitely a spot I didn't like. So, MJF then had tried even the score, so he targeted the elbow of Joe. He had a heat seeker on Joe for a near fall. Joe was on the top rope and somehow, with his torn labrum, got Samoa Joe on his shoulders and hit a F5 to Samoa Joe. Press the feat of strength there, if I say so. So, yeah. So, get towards the end of the match. So, the referee was knocked down. So, MJF asked Adam Cole for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And, this was a spot. This was the ending spot I can tell people were confused by or taken back by. So, MJF asked Cole for the ring. And he's sticking around, his jacket and his pockets. And it's like, well, how did Wardlow cost MJF the match for CM Punk? He couldn't find the ring and basically gave it to CM Punk. And that dog collar match. So, and I get it. I have the big moment, but Adam Cole, he gave the ring to MJF, and then MJF, he gets caught by Samoa Joe in the sleeper. MJF tries to roll up Samoa Joe, but to no avail. Samoa Joe just locks in the sleeper tighter in the middle of the ring. And MJF has nowhere to go. Bryce, 1, 2, and then it looked like a bit of a botch with the third try of the arm. And that was it. MJF passed out. We have a new AEW World Champion and Samoa Joe. Great stuff. Happy for Joe. Again, I watched him when he was climbing through the depths of TNA, and when he got that moment of beating Kurt Angle at Lockdown in 2008, that was a great moment. And then his title reign up until he lost to Sting at Bound for Glory was a fun reign. Good to see him get to the mountaintop, and then did not get back there for a while. You know, I didn't really see his run in Ring of Honor. You know, and then he makes his return to Ring of Honor, aka AEW, going through the depths, and now finally, after being in WWE for a couple years but not being the WWE champion, well, he should have held it at least once. Being MJF at World's End in Nassau Coliseum to become the new world champion, great stuff. I mean, it had to happen. MJF, with his injuries and stuff, he had to have a break. So, great stuff for Samoa Joe. But that wasn't the ending. Adam Cole. He was in the ring, tried to console with MJF, you know, distraught MJF. Then all of a sudden we see 4 henchmen surround one side of the ring. They get in the ring and they look like they're about to attack Adam Cole and MJF. One is about to wield a chair, and they're back and forth telling them hit the other. Then all of a sudden the lights go out. Then we see Adam Cole sitting in a chair in front of or surrounded by these 4 henchmen. And they unmask as Roderick Strong, Wardlow, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven. MJF was distraught, telling him, how could you do this? And then Roddy hits big knee, beat down by Matt Taven, then a big powerbomb by Wardlow. Adam Cole takes out the mask, holds it up high, gives a smirk, dumps it. Now, he was still limping, so feels like severity's there. We'll see what the explanations are, but yeah. So then he dumps the mask on MJF, and then they pose as they go off the show. Great stuff. The reveal was good. The match was as good as it could have been. The ending could have definitely been better. But again, great for Samoa Joe. Now, the message did say, pleasure doing business with you. So, does Adam Cole get a title match? That's the thing. It's certainly a thought. We'll see. But overall, I was disappointed by World's End up until really, well, The first match I enjoyed, but ultimately it was the last three which really hit home. Copeland versus Christian, Moxley versus Eddie, and Samoa Joe versus MJF. Those were big talk points, and those were fun. It just sucks that the outside the ring stuff really felt like it affected this show, and that sucked. But yeah, overall, it was a quality World's End. First edition could have been better, but yeah, we'll see. But anyways, guys, thank you all for joining me. Again, if you're new, subscribe. If you want to, smash that like button, click it. Happy New Year Eve, day, whichever. Thank you guys all. See you back Thursday or Friday for AEW Dynamite. But thank you guys all. Be safe. Peace.